and welcome back to another episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge. As you can see, we are here with Rebecca, and she is feeling very sad over the loss of her grandma Gemma, and she is not alone in that, as the whole family is still mourning her loss. We are just going to go ahead and jump in with the family and see how they're doing. But first, we're going to see what Rebecca is up to. She is going to go in here and see her way into the kitchen here, into, well, I guess the dining room area really, because she wants to go and have a little bit of a chat with this person that she doesn't really know. She's going to go and have a little chat with this stranger. We know this is Matty, but she hasn't met Matty yet, so she's going to go and talk to Matty, talk to the stranger, and try to get to know who he is a little bit. As we know, Matty came around in the last episode because he wanted to kind of help out with Charles a little bit, hoping to help ease some of Norma's burden because she did just lose her mother, and he has decided to be our house guest. So he is staying with us for a few days' time so that he can help us with Charles and help around the house and just ease some of Norma's burden. And as we know, he is hoping to build a little bit of a relationship with Charles while he is here, so we are hoping that that can take place as well. Charles has just gotten up. He is going to obviously go into the kitchen and get himself a little bit to eat because he is feeling a little bit peckish, so we are going to just allow him to grab himself a bite to eat. As you can see, he is also feeling really sad. The whole family is mourning, and so Matty does have his hands full trying to keep them kind of cheered up a little bit. He is a great help around the house with the chores. He's really been helping out a lot. You'll find that he does do a lot of the cleaning around the house and even a little bit of cooking. So he is really helping Norma out when it comes to that. We know that she does have her hands full being a single mom, and so having Matty around, even though it is a little bit awkward being that he is her ex-husband and is now married to her sister, it is a little bit of an awkward situation for them to be in. The fact that he's around and he is being so supportive of this whole situation and scenario is quite helpful for Norma. We are hoping that he can build up a relationship with Charles and that they can have a good father-son dynamic and that they will be able to get on pretty good terms while he is here. I don't know exactly how long he will be our house guest, but we are going to enjoy the time that he is around while we have him here. We are just going to go ahead and have Charles come in here and spend a little bit of time with Rebecca. As we know, these two have a really adorable relationship. They are pretty close. They always love to spend time together. We know that Rebecca likes to talk to her big brother Charles. She loves him so very much, and she is just going to have a little bit of a conversation with him. They're going to tell each other little secrets and give hugs, and we love watching them interact with one another because they are absolutely precious. Look at these two little beans. They just warm my heart. The fact that he is so much older than her and he gets on with her the way he does is just the most precious thing ever. Unfortunately, Rebecca is feeling a little upset because she needs a bath, something fierce, so I am going to need to get Norma in here to give her a little bit of toddler care and get her a bubble bath as soon as possible. Even though Norma is struggling right now because of the loss of her mom, her motherly duties do not end, and she does have to go ahead and take care of her daughter because we know that, unfortunately, Matty being here, he does have limited things that he can do, and taking care of her can't be done. It looks like we have a new family dynamic, a strict relationship between Norma and Rebecca, and so we are going to go ahead and say that yes, they can have a strict family dynamic. So we are going to go ahead and say yes to that. So Norma and Rebecca are going to have a strict family dynamic now. And we are going to go ahead and just let her grab up Rebecca here and take her in here and give her a little bit of a bath here so we can get her cleaned up. As you can see, Charles is in his room. He's just getting a little bit of homework done. We know that he likes to do that. These times of mourning has not changed the fact that he still gets his homework done, and so he is working on his homework as we speak and has just completed that, which is fantastic. I love that he goes in there and he works on that without being told, and that is wonderful for us. So we are just going to get this bath underway, and we will let hopefully Charles and Matty spend a little bit of time together here, and he can just spend some time getting to know his dad. Obviously, we are going to need to get some things done here on the lot, as far as we will need to make sure that our garden is tended to and our chickens have been taken care of. So we do have, Charles will need to be helping out with that some. He does tend to do that as well. So we'll have him go on outside at some point and check on the chickens, maybe give them a little bit of feed. And he can even check the plants. I know in the last episode he had kind of done that autonomously. I don't know if he will do that now that he is so upset. He may not. But as you will find, he does go around the house and picks up a lot on his own. So we definitely will see him doing that. But I'm just going to have him queue on up here to come and scatter some feed for the chickens. It doesn't look like we have any plants that actually need any tending. And then once he's done with that, we'll have him go on in and talk to Matty and just ask for a little bit of advice. Maybe Matty might have some words of wisdom for Charles in this time of stress and this time of loss, that he can maybe help him out so that he can cheer him up a little bit. He might have some things that he can say that maybe Norma hasn't said to him. Unfortunately, Norma is also going through a really stressful time right now, and anything that she might be able to say to him that would be able to advise him on how to feel better. This could be a time where she's just not able to come up with the words because she's feeling those same feelings of sadness that Charles is feeling, and so she's not able to really help him at the best. She just, unfortunately, is feeling those same feelings, and so she might not be able to give him the best advice right now or the best words of wisdom. But with Matty being kind of outside of the box, he is able to be that parent that can possibly be supportive and be a sounding board for Charles to give him some words of wisdom that possibly Norma just can't be that sounding board right now because she's in the midst of this grief as well. So he's going to go in here, he's going to talk to his dad, and he's just going to say to him, look, I'm really, really upset about the loss of my grandma. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to get over this feelings, and I am really, really sad. Life really sucks right now. I don't really know what to do. I think Matty is just going to be like, look, I understand that you're really, really sad, but there are other things in life that you can be happy about. You have a mom that loves you. You have a dad that loves you. You have a little sister that loves you very much. We all are here for you, and things are going to get better. It is just going to take time. As you can see, they are singing about the fact that it is 1966. It is technically a holiday on the calendar, even though it isn't really a holiday. I do have the decade, like the year changing in the calendar, so they are celebrating that it is 1966, and they're singing about that. And they are just kind of trying to cheer each other up right now. Well, he's trying to cheer up Charles currently. And they're just doing a little bit of joking, a little bit of talking about the weather. And he's going to talk to him about school and just tell him how he's doing in school. And they're going to give each other a little bit of hugs. Because I think he is really loving the fact that Matty is there for him. And it says we have a new family dynamic that he's supportive. Some older Sims have a knack for providing reassurance and emotional support for their younger family members. The older Sim can serve as a good role model, sharing their many life experiences to help guide the younger Sim through life. Recently, it seems like Charles and Matty have this type of relationship. When family members have a supportive family dynamic, both Sims will actively provide affection and compliment each other. The older Sim will actively seek to console or cheer up the younger Sim, and the younger Sim feels comfortable when venting complaints or asking for help. Would you say they have a supportive family dynamic? Yes. Okay, perfect. So I love the fact that Matty is being supportive of Charles. That is wonderful news. I was hoping that they would be able to build up a bit of a relationship like that while he was here, and it does seem that is the case. So I absolutely love that for Charles, that he is getting that from his father, and that their relationship does seem to be going up. That is wonderful news, and something that I really love to see. Norma has decided to go out for a little bit of a jog. She is admittedly a little bit frustrated, not maybe frustrated, but not really knowing how to feel about this. I think she is glad that Matty is here. She loves the fact that they are getting to know one another, but she doesn't really know how to act. It is a little bit awkward, you have to say. I mean, she's like thinking to herself, he's my ex-husband. Yes, he's the father of my child, but this is a really weird position to be in. Like, he's married to my sister, but he's staying at my house right now. And even though she knows why he's doing it for Charles, and because she did just lose her mother. Technically, Evangeline just lost her mother as well, and he's Evangeline's husband. He should really be with Evangeline supporting her right now, but he's here supporting Norma and Charles, and she's thinking, this is really, really awkward, and she doesn't really know how to act. She's, of course, thankful. She is loving the fact that he's here to help, and she loves the fact that he's here building a relationship with Charles, and she appreciates all of the help, but she just doesn't really know how to act about it. It is really an awkward situation to be in, and she's not exactly sure how she should feel about it. So she is, as you can see, kind of hanging around outside. She had to go for a jog to kind of clear her head, try to kind of maybe figure out what she's feeling about it, and unfortunately she just isn't quite sure. So she's just outside doing a little bit of research, trying to give them a little bit of space, a little bit of time where they can spend some time alone without her kind of hovering, just because she does feel like it is just extremely awkward, and she just is not exactly sure how to feel. And because of that, she just kind of wants to give them their own space. And so she's just spending as much time as she can outdoors, whether that be going on jogs, going outside, dealing with the gardening, or whatever she can do to not really be in the house underfoot in Matty and Charles's way while they are trying to kind of get to know one another. She does want them to have the chance to kind of grow and bond, but it's hard because this is her home, and yeah. Obviously, she doesn't want it to be super weird. She is friends with Matty, but it just is awkward. It's just awkward. There's no two ways around it. It just is. She's going to go ahead and come on in and make some food. So there are food in the fridge. We love leftovers in this house, as we know. And so we are going to go ahead and have her do a little bit of cooking here, and then we'll have her chat with Charles just a little bit. He is obviously going to come in and just tell his mom, Mom, I really appreciate that you are letting Dad stay here. I know this can't be easy for you, but I really am thankful that you've allowed him to stay and that you're giving us the time to get to know each other. It really means a lot to me. Obviously, I'm really, really sad because Grandma's gone, and the fact that I have the chance to meet Dad and get to know him and become friends with him really means a lot to me. And she's gonna say, Charles, I know how much this means to you, and even if it is hard for me, I want you to know that I would do anything for you because I love you so much. So she understands that this is a vital relationship for him to have, and she means that she, even though it's hard for her, would do anything for him, and she means that with all of her heart. And so that's why she is allowing this to take place. And even though it is awkward for her, she is allowing Matty to be their house guest. So she has finished this French toast here for the family. She's going to go ahead and grab herself a plate. They are just discussing Matty being here and the fact that Charles is really struggling hard with the fact that he has lost his grandmother. She was his best friend. There was a dynamic relationship that was really someone that was very close to him that he has lost, and he is really struggling, probably the hardest on him. Out of all of the family, Gemma was really, really close to Charles. Not to say that Gemma and Norma weren't close, because obviously they were. That was her mother. But Charles and Gemma did have a very special relationship, and it is really affecting him very, very hard. She is just trying to, get him to understand that, while this is very difficult, she is in a better place. She is with his grandfather, and that unfortunately people don't live forever and they do have to pass on. He's going to complain about the problem that he doesn't understand why that is. Why does that have to be that way? People get close and then they leave you. And she's going to be like, I understand that this is hard for you to understand being a kid. She's going to try to console him about the death, get him to understand that, unfortunately this is something that has to happen. It looks like Norma, though, is going through a midlife crisis alert, and she has hit a breaking point in life. The daily grind of life has burnt her out, and now she has an intense desire to become a modern day creative deity. Okay, Miss Midlife Crisis, we do not have time to be dealing with midlife crises in the midst of everything else going on. She's like, yeah, well, clearly we do. Oh, freaking great. So now on top of the fact that we have a house guest that is awkward and a loss of our mother, now she's decided she wants to go through a midlife crisis. I don't know how this is going to affect her becoming a mixologist, if this is going to really affect her career or not, but this is, I guess, happening, and so we will just roll with the punches. Obviously, as you can see, our buddy has come over to visit. Neil's here, and we are still a little chapped at him over the fact that he asked us out on a date even though he's married. Not, real happy about the fact that he kind of thought we might want to be a homewrecker. So she hasn't, as you can see, said anything to him. She kind of walked on by, didn't say hi or anything like that. He went ahead and went in and said hello to Charles, but she just walked on past, didn't really have a whole lot to say to him. I think that she's kind of going to maybe avoid him for a little bit just because she isn't really sure how she feels about that. We know those two aren't compatible on the love front of things. They really do need to just remain friends. And I don't know if she is really going to be okay with the fact that he is here right now, so soon after that whole thing kind of fell out and happened between the two of them. I think she might need a little bit of time to kind of get over that, but we will just have to see. He is obviously hanging out with Charles and just spending some time with him. We know that Neil and her are close. Obviously, he would come over and he would want to give his condolences for the loss of Gemma, and he would want to be here for the family. He is close with all of us. I think he would also want to give his condolences for Norma, but I think Norma, being Norma and being hurt by the fact that he would even assume that she would be a homewrecker, she would be like, I can't even talk to you right now. She's going to go ahead, as you can see, and give Matty a hug and just tell him, can we have a sit down and just chat? I want to thank you for everything that you're doing for Charles. It really means a lot to me that you have come here and that you have left Evangeline to come here and stay and to help me out with the kids. I realize that you probably really need to be there for your wife, but here you are getting to know Charles, doing everything you can to help him. And I just want to make a toast to you. I think that is amazing that you're doing what you're doing. I love the fact that you guys are building a relationship and that it's going so smashingly. I think that what you're doing is phenomenal. And obviously all of the help that you're giving me is very, very appreciated. And it just... really, Matty, I never expected it from you, but I am grateful. So Neil's decided he's going to go ahead and go. He came over, he gave his condolences to Charles, and now he's leaving. She's like, you cannot believe what Neil did. And he's like, what? And she's like, he told me he wanted to go out on a date with me, and he's married. And Matty's like, oh my God. And she's like, yeah, I know, right? So they are just kind of getting on, bantering like old friends, and just having a really good time chatting. Obviously, some of that might be some of that liquid courage because of that drink she's got there. But either way, they are getting on pretty good, and they're just having some nice conversation here, which is good. I love the fact that they're kind of being able to get on, especially considering they are staying in the same house right now. And it is nice to see them be able to get along as friends. And I think it will help in the long run, especially considering he is building a relationship with his son. If he can get along with Norma and they can co-parent together in the long run, obviously that will be best for Charles. So it is really nice to see them getting along here. And Charles is like just shattered and so sad over, obviously, the loss of his grandmother, and talking about that with Neil has just really, really made him realize that, like, the finality of life, he just is not liking it at all. He really isn't, the poor thing. She is just cleaning up a little bit, but then I think she's gonna have herself a little bit of a cry in the closet, the poor dear. Everyone is just really, really struggling with this whole grief and mourning over Gemma. I don't know how much longer they have to mourn, but it is really hitting them really hard. We knew it would, and grief always hits our Sims really hard. They really have a difficult time moving on, But I think even Matty is surprised by how much Gemma's life and loss of her life is affecting this family. But she was such a vital part of this family. And so it is really, really affecting everyone quite strongly. I'm going to go ahead and have little Rebecca get up and grab herself a serving of this French toast because she is feeling quite peckish here. And then we will go ahead and take care of everyone's needs here. Norma is just going to be cleaning up around the house a little bit. She does like to keep the house nice and tidy, and so we'll have her clean up a little bit and empty the coffee pot here. She's like, oh, the house is such a wreck. It's really not. But then she's gonna go ahead and head off to work. While she's headed off to work, obviously Matty will stay behind with the children. I do believe that we will be sending off little Rebecca to daycare, but we will have Charles and Matty stay here at home together, and then they'll be able to go ahead and spend a little bit of time together. So Matty and Charles are just spending a little bit of time together while the two ladies are off to work and daycare, and they are just having a little bit of a conversation. Matty is just asking him how school's doing, and they are just having a nice conversation. Obviously, I think that Charles would be a little bit, curious about Evangeline. Obviously, we know that is his aunt, but also his stepmother, which would be a little bit of a strange dynamic for him to maybe understand. But I do think he is probably a little bit curious about her. They don't really know each other all that well. They are just going to have a little bit of time here to cuddle with one another and bond and get to know one another, and they're going to have a little bit of time getting some conversation in about the family. I think Charles and Matty would talk a little bit about Evangeline, and he would say, she would love for you to come by sometime and get to know you better. We would love to have you anytime you ever want to come and visit the house. We would love to have you. Obviously, you are welcome in our home just as much as you'd like to come over and visit. So I think that they would be happy to have him come over and visit their house as often as he wanted to come over and visit. Charles is obviously going to try to get to know Matty a little bit better because he doesn't really know a whole lot about Matty. He just knows that he's his dad, really, but he doesn't really know any of his traits or anything really about him. And they have, it says, become really good friends, which we love. They are just kind of having a little bit of a fun time chatting here, and he is making Charles laugh, which we love. I love it when he makes Charles laugh, and they have gotten him into a bit of a playful mood, which is nice to see because he has been in such a sad mood as of late. So seeing him in a mood other than feeling very sad is great to see. I love that Matty has been able to cheer him up. I am just going to get him working on some of his homework if he has any to do, because obviously we want him making sure that he gets his extra credit and his makeup work done. Obviously he is very scholarly and we want him to continue on with that. So he is just going to go ahead and go into his bedroom here and work on his homework and get that done while Matty does things around the house to kind of tidy up and things that obviously adults would do. And then once he is finished with his homework, we'll go ahead and let him get a little bit of playtime in so that he can get some fun up, because he does need a little bit of things going on in his life that are fun, because his fun is down a little bit. So I think he'll probably want to maybe play a little bit, and that will get a little bit of fun up for him. And so he can probably play in this closet. I think that would be a little bit of fun for him. So we'll see if we can get him playing a little bit, using his imagination and doing some things that just little boys would do, which will be fantastic to see. So go ahead and get in this closet here and just do a little bit of playtime, if you will. So we'll go ahead and send Charles into this closet here. He's just going to do a little bit of playing in the closet so that he can get some fun up. And as you can see, he is just playing make-believe in the closet here while he gets up some fun. And he is having a grand old time in here in his bedroom, just playing make-believe in the closet. And we love to see that. He is so precious. Oh my God. He is once again very sad his playfulness is just right underneath his sadness, but unfortunately the sadness is overwhelmingly just taking over all of the playfulness that he does have. Even though he is having a fun time playing in this closet, he still is just so overwhelmingly sad because of Gemma. It just unfortunately is at the top of the surface. It takes over every other emotion that he's currently feeling, and I hate that for him. I really, really do. But once he's done playing in this closet, he is going to need to go ahead and get a little bit of rest in. It is almost 10 p.m. at night, and he is feeling pretty tired, so we are going to go ahead and queue up for him to go ahead and go to bed and get a little bit of rest in. And then I will check back with you guys once Norma is back from work. So we'll go ahead and get Charles into bed. And as you can see, everyone is back home, and Rebecca is just playing a little bit with her toys. She is feeling a little bit tired, but she is needing some fun. So we're just letting her play for a little while. And then once she's got her fun up a little bit, then we'll go ahead and put her into bed for the evening. It is really, really late. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, but her fun was desperately low. So I did want to get her fun up just a little bit. She is like loving these toys, but I really probably should get her into bed. It is super, super late. Norma is already asleep, as is Charles, but she is just playing to her little heart's content, but I really probably should get her into bed. So let's go ahead and have her stop playing with this carriage and get her into her bed, and then we can check back with everyone in the morning when everyone's awake. Okay, so let's go ahead and put Rebecca to bed now. She's just climbing into bed, and she's gonna go ahead and go to sleep, and I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, it is the next morning, and as you can see, Norma is just fixing some breakfast. She is feeling extremely hungry, so hopefully she can get this done in time before she decides to starve to death. But she is going to go ahead and make breakfast. Everyone is up except for little Rebecca. As you can see, Matty and Charles are just having a little bit of fun playing together here in the kitchen while Norma cooks up some breakfast for everyone. And they are really loving the fact that they're able to wake up in the morning together and spend time together immediately. Like, that is something that they have really, really missed out on with Matty obviously not being in the house. It is something that he didn't really realize that he was missing out on. But Matty not being around didn't get to see Charles grow up, didn't get to have these morning moments. And now he's getting to experience that, and he is absolutely loving that. And Charles is as well. So it is something that they are really coming to cherish. It's obviously not something that they're going to have once Matty leaves being a house guest, but they are experiencing it now, and it's something that they are really enjoying, and they are cherishing the moments that they are making as they have them. And even though they know it is going to end, at least they have the memories that they're making now. So they are going to go ahead, and everyone's going to grab themselves some food, and then we are going to go ahead and tend to the chores around the house. We clearly have some weeding that needs to be done. We have some harvesting that needs to be done, and the chickens need to go ahead and be tended to. The coop needs to be cleaned and all of those kind of things, because unfortunately no one has been doing those things, and things are starting to get a little bit out of hand. And it has advised me that Norma, in her midlife crisis, does want to play the violin. So I have gotten her a violin, and we are going to go ahead and let her bow for inspiration once her chores are done. And she can go ahead and see if she actually likes violin, or if that's just something that she has thought up in her mind while she is going through this midlife crisis. But we will just have to see once she starts playing if that's something that she actually likes or just something she thinks she likes. Either way, I did go ahead and get her a violin so that she can at least try it out. Unfortunately, as you can see, Charles is extremely uncomfortable. He is hungry and he needs to go to the washroom. He has some needs that are in the negative, and we really need to take care of that. So I'm going to let him take care of his needs there while Norma goes ahead and takes care of some of the chores here. And we will just take care of poor little Charles. It says he didn't have a satisfying woohoo. I am not sure what that means. He's a child. I'm not sure why it says he had an unsatisfying woohoo, but that is disturbing. So there's that. We don't like that at all. But yeah, and he needs to pee. So we'll let him go ahead and go to the washroom, and I don't know what the whole woohoo thing is. I don't know if that's like a mod or what that is about, but
nope.
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. That being said, she is now in here playing this violin. She is feeling very playful, and she is finally no longer mourning. As you can see, everyone has stopped mourning Gemma. We are past the mourning phase. No one is grieving any longer, guys. We have finally gotten over the hump, and everyone is finally feeling better about losing their grandma and mother. And we are on the upswing. I think now it is finally past us. I mean, do we miss her? Of course we miss her. We're always going to miss her, but we have our memories. And I think that overall everyone is in a pretty good place. We know that she brought what she brought to the house and to this family, and we have our memories of her, but we are no longer suffering. We are no longer grieving and mourning and crying over her being gone. And we have finally grieved her fully and mourned her and have allowed her. We've gotten past that stage of grief. And I think that is wonderful for us. Matty has been here through all of it, and he has helped the family to get through all of that, which is fantastic. And I love that for us. I love that for Charles. That is wonderful that he had his father here to help him through. Not only did he have his mother, who is a fantastic mom and has been there for him through everything, and always he will, but he had his father here for it as well, which has been fantastic. As you can see, we are just going to have to give Rebecca a little bit of a bath. She is once again feeling a little bit grungy, so she's going to get herself a little bit of a bubble bath again. We started out in the bubble bath. We're going to finish here in the bubble bath. But she's going to get a bath, and Charles and Matty are just having a little bit of a conversation here and having a little bit of fun time. It looks like we still have Charles here for 2 more days, which is fantastic that they still have a little bit of time left together, and I love that for them. That being said, this episode is getting a little bit long, so we probably won't be spending 2 more full days with them in this episode, because I don't want it to run into like an hour-long episode. But they are really enjoying spending time together, and I am loving the family dynamic that they are building with one another, which is super fantastic. We are just getting this bath, and then she's going to go ahead and get some laundry going because they need to get some wash going in. I don't think anyone has done any laundry in this entire episode, which is saying a lot considering that's all they usually do is laundry. But we have had so much going on in this episode that they've not done really any of the house chores as far as laundry goes. And yeah, that's a shocker for me, really. But she's going to go ahead and get some house cleaning done because she is thinking to herself, this house is an absolute wreck. As you can see, she's feeling very uncomfortable because the house is a disaster, and she's usually pretty on top of it and keeping it really neat. And right now it is definitely in disarray. Yes, Matty has been trying really hard to keep it clean, and he is really trying to help. Look at him talk with Rebecca. I love that. But unfortunately, it's just not up to Norma standards. She is a little bit OCD. Let's just face it. She really is. And she likes it spick and span. But she is working on some mixology right now. She is trying to level that up, which we love. And she needs to get that leveled up for her job. But first and foremost, we also need to work on leveling up your daughter. And so please, by all means, get in there and let's potty train Rebecca. Can you do that? And she's like, yeah, first let's potty train me. Okay, yeah, let's. So she's going to go to the washroom herself, and then we're going to get her in there. We're going to potty train Rebecca. Rebecca needs some serious potty training going on. And we are going to have her get some potty training in so that we can have her at least learn a little bit of some skills, because she has not learned any potty training at all as of yet. And so we need to do that. The guys are just still doing some weeding. Okay, we love that. I love that he's weeding in the hall. I don't know why he doesn't just go outside to do the weeding, but instead he wants to weed in the hall. We love that for him. We do. It's a whole thing. Okay, it's just a whole thing. All right, she is potty training little Miss Rebecca, and then I'm gonna have her go ahead and head on to bed because she is exhausted. So she does need to get a little bit of sleep in. She's currently contemplating life. She is really struggling through this midlife crisis. It is really giving her a hard time. I'm going to have Charles come on out and do a little bit of weeding. We definitely need to finish up this weeding. It is in rough shape. Our plants are struggling. They just are. As you can see, Norma's like, I'm going for a nap. Charles will finish up the weeding outside. At least he is smart enough to actually come outdoors to do the weeding, which we love, instead of doing it inside, which is clearly not making any difference. But he's going to come on out and do it outside like he should, and then we'll have him scatter some feed for the chickens. Rebecca needs a nap, so we'll put her down for a nap here. She's like, yay, I have done it. I did the potty thing. Yes, you did, sweet girl. Yes, you did. You are amazing. All right, once you have done this whole feed the chicken thing, you have done everything that you need to do for your chores, which makes you a fantastic little boy. We love that. I will let you go ahead and go on in and spend some time with your dad. He's like, actually, that toilet needs cleaned. And the bloody dryer's busted up. So as you can see, Charles does like to clean up and help up around the house, so he is just doing a little bit of cleaning. I'm gonna have him help out with a little bit of the chores, and Norma is going to finish up some of this laundry and then continue practicing making some drinks for her mixology for her career. She is going through a midlife crisis. It may be a bad idea to make her work on her career stuff, but I do want her working on her career things, because honestly, how else is she going to get her milestones and promotions if she doesn't work on these things? She's lacking magnus opus. I mean, she really doesn't want to do it. She really, really doesn't. And now it's telling me that she had a bad woohoo. You didn't even woohoo. You just went and had a nap. So I don't understand what this whole thing is about, but that's fine. It doesn't even make sense. That being said, she's doing the mixology thing. We are making some drinks, and we love it. They're listening to some music. The guys are having a bit of conversation, and Matty's like, I'm going to take out the trash, because honestly, your mom is freaking out about the house being dirty, so I might as well help out a little bit. And Charles is thinking, I don't know why she's freaking out. That's all I do is run around and clean up. I mean, I help out as much as I can. As you can see, he is getting some dancing in. We love that. He's like up to motor level 4. We are loving the fact that his skills are going up. She's making drink after drink after drink. She's going to make one for Matty. I mean, we love that. She's like, here, you want a drink? And he's like, I could stand for a drink. Great, because I could stand to make you one. Why? Why not? We'll make a drink for Matty. Matty's going to cook. No, Matty's just going to eat. And then she has to go to work in an hour after she has been practicing these drink making skills for quite some time, and then she has to go to work on top of that. I think that that's probably going to drive her to madness, but honestly, Norma, it is what it is. You do have to get some money for the family. You do have to make drinks. You have to level up in life. You have to. We want you to become a mixologist. And she's like, no, you want me to become a mixologist. Actually, no, that is literally your aspiration. Even though you are going through a midlife crisis, that is what you actually want in life. So I do want that for you as well. And she may be changing her mind on what she wants to be. I don't know. If you guys don't think that she should be a mixologist, let me know in the comments what you think that Norma would be good at, and we can always change her aspiration to something else. I am not against changing that to something else if you think something better would fit her. based on her personality, because maybe a mixologist is not something that really fits her the best, and we could totally change that to something else. Look at Matty go. Okay, we are going to go ahead and send Rebecca to daycare. Norma is off to work, and once again we have Matty and Charles hanging out. They are dancing and chatting and hanging out over some tunes, which we love. These two clearly love to dance and hang out together. We are loving that so much. He's like, Dad, I didn't realize that you could dance so good. And he's like, you know, son, I have been practicing since I was about your age at dancing. And I absolutely love music. I absolutely love dancing. And I think that it's something that if it's something you love, that you should really just throw your whole self into. And he's like, that's great. So these two are obviously spending some really good quality time together, especially considering, you know, Norma has to leave and go to work, and it leaves Charles and with Matty alone. They have a lot of quality time that they spend together, and I love that they are spending one-on-one time together, and it's really, really helping them to bond. Obviously, once Charles is done eating, we are going to go ahead and have him continue on with some of cleaning up around the house and helping to keep things kind of picked up. But I do want him to go ahead and become best friends with his dad. I think that would just be the icing on top of the cake if he could go ahead and become best friends with Matty, since they have clearly gotten their relationship up to such a high standard here. I just think it would make perfect sense for them to go ahead and hit that next level of their relationship where they can consider each other best friends. He is already really, really good friends, possibly even best friends with Norma. He obviously was best friends with Gemma, and it would just make sense that he would go ahead and get to that next relationship step with his father as well. And so we are going to go ahead and get that taken care of, because I want them to have a good relationship. I want him to know that he can go to Matty for anything, and for that dynamic to go ahead and be set. No homework to be done, so just go ahead and become best friends with your dad. Can you do that for me? Okay, so we are just gonna go ahead and get them to become best friends. They are going to give each other a nice big hug and become best friends. So sweet. He's like, Dad, you are the best. And he's like, you're the best, son. It's like, I never thought that our relationship would be like this, Dad. I never thought that you were ever going to come around. I really didn't. And Matty's like, you know what, son, that's my fault. And I am so sorry that it took me so long to come around and for us to have this relationship. That's my fault. And he's like, it's okay, Dad, it really is. And, you know, I'm just glad that you're here now. So these two are clearly getting on. They are just doing a little bit of laundry together and spending some quality time together while the girls are out. I am going to go ahead, I think, and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in the next episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge, where we will be with our lovely O'Hara family. And until next time, I'm gonna go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.